And we are live. Magandang hapon mga ka-SBN. Ito po si Clary Herrera, founder ng Small Business Solutions and Small Business Network, and I will be your host for today's episode of Small Business Talks, kung saan pag-uusapan at pagkakwentuhan natin ang istorya ng mga hashtag negosyanteng Pinoy. Happy MSME Week po pa rin sa ating lahat at sa lahat ng nanonood sa atin sa ating Facebook page, sa ating YouTube channel at maging sa ating Facebook community na Small Business Network Philippines. Kamusta po kayong lahat? And for our second episode, makakasama natin ngayon ang founder ng FoodSource.ph, si Mr. Marlon Tong. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Sir Marlon.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Magandang hapon, Sir Marlon, and thank you very much po for accepting our invitation.
Thank you rin for having me here.
And Sir Marlon, yun nga, pag-uusapan natin ngayon kung ano yung naging journey mo as an entrepreneur and yung journey mo kasama ng FoodSource.ph. So, Sir Marlon, ready na ba tayo?
Oo, medyo kinakabahan lang ng konti, pero sige, game.
Yeah, I'm sure naman marami ka ng shows. I've seen some of your shows previously. So, feeling ko veterano ka na pagdating sa mga podcast and guestings. But yeah,
Hindi na.
Sir Marlon, Sir Marlon,
Ay,
siguro let's start by sharing to our listeners kung ano ba ang Food Source at PH and paano nagsimula yung journey mo with Food Source PH.
so it started with we were trying to build something online kasi our in terms of background, I used to be a software developer. So
Mhm.
talagang tech yung ano talaga yung nakasanayan. And food is more like a ano talaga hilig talaga yan eh. Kita naman sa
Mhm.
ano ko sa build ko eh, 'di ba? Medyo chunky tayo
Parang
eh.
hindi naman halata.
So, mahilig kumain. So yun. So
Mhm.
what we were trying to ano kasi to accomplish is yun nga kasi in terms of yung mga local na food natin, mga products natin, parang hindi sila nabibigyan ng exposure eh. So that's what we wanted to achieve sana. Mm-mm.
Mhm. I see. And Sir Marlon, you started Food Source PH while you were working as a developer, or you decided that you wanted to be an entrepreneur and start your own business?
Actually ano yan eh. Hindi siya kumbaga advisable story kasi ano yan, I started with I was trying to establish also another business kasi I was
Mm.
doing my own products also. So I
Mm.
wanted to quit my job kasi medyo na burn out dun sa last ko eh. Oo, so
Yeah.
it's not advisable for the listeners out there. Ano yan, kumbaga i-establish mo muna yung negosyo. So yun, so that's what I was trying to do eh. Kasi ayun, so I was going to jump into a business that I was doing, and Food Source is a sales avenue that we wanted to establish para may promote
Mm.
din. Kasi yun nga with the struggles of me trying to launch my business. Kasi yun nga, if you have a new product that you want to launch into market, saan mo ba siya unang ibebenta if you're like starting out small as an SME?
Mhm.
Ayun. So that's what we wanted to do naman. Yun yung goal ni Food Source.
I see. All right. So, eto, nung sinimulan mo si Food Source, you have another business. And ano yung isang business natin nun, Sir Marlon?
I was doing ano, I have a brand of peanut butter. Yeah, it's
Mm.
a natural peanut butter. Medyo tinigil ko lang siya ngayong pandemic eh. So wala akong mapakita ngayon eh. Oh, so but I'm trying to revive that a bit
Mhm.
soon. Oo.
Pero during that time when you started Food Source together with the peanut butter brand that you had, how
Mm-mm.
hard was it managing two businesses? Kasi ako ngayon, I have a digital marketing agency, then I have this small business solutions and small business network. I know how hard it is to manage your time. So how was it like having and running two businesses during that time?
Um that was ano eh kasi in terms of yung kumbaga complementing kasi sila eh yung dalawa.
Mhm.
So one is manufacturing, and I was using Food Source as a kumbaga marketing and sales arm for that business eh. So medyo nag-aano sila eh, nagsasabay naman.
Mhm.
Plus syempre ano yan eh, kumbaga if you're just starting out, you try to be more efficient eh. So I had both
Mhm.
in the same location. So at
Yeah.
least in terms of like managing it, it's relatively a bit more simple. Than let's say
Mhm.
sabihin natin I can it's like having two business but it's in the same ano naman, so may konting
Mhm.
separation lang and all, pero it's not too ano ba in terms of managing it, kumbaga hindi siya yung
Mhm.
parang I have to go to separate locations or what. Oo.
I see. So ito ata yung tinatawag natin na forward integration, no? Since you have this food brand and you wanted to have
Yeah,
a
parang
sales
ganun.
avenue for your brand. So kaya mo ginawa to si Food Source.
Yes.
And that
Oo.
relates with you utilizing your skills as a developer. But prior to starting Food Source, how many years were you in development? Then software ba or website
Yeah,
management to?
yeah, I was in software development for 8 years din. 8 years din yun.
Tagal.
So,
That was
oo.
your first profession?
Yeah, yeah. Straight out of college, I was working as a developer for 8 years. Para ano rin eh,
Mhm.
kumbaga gain experience, get to know how the corporate world is.
Mhm.
Ayun. So after that, okay na.
You wanted. For me, actually, I'm not sure if you had the same eh. Yung tinatawag natin na entrepreneurial itch. When you were working, for me, on my experience, I was working before and I really wanted to have my own business. Yung parang idea of you having your own business. Did you have that entrepreneurial itch na tinatawag, kumbaga?
Well, I don't know if it's a good thing, but I was told many times na hindi ako bagay pang empleyado. I was told by co-employees oo. So, siguro it's more like ano kasi siya eh. If you're an employee, you have to fit in a bit more eh.
Mhm.
'Di ba? Like you have to like um follow your manager or ano, at least the company direction. There's a lot of things that sometimes might not make sense to you, but it's the direction of the company eh, 'di ba? So
Mhm.
as an entrepreneur, you set your own direction kasi. So sabihin na natin mga siguro mga bagay siya sa mga pasaway o mga ano lang naman yan, pero more like
Mhm.
um our minds are a bit different, I would think. So we have a bit more vision or ano than sabihin natin ano yan eh, sabihin natin I guess we're a bit more critical about a lot of things also. So that's why we want to do our own way.
Mhm.
So I guess that would
Mhm.
be the difference. And yeah, definitely when I was still working, ano talaga yan, kumbaga I was really feeling that.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess there are really some people who are built or in terms of personality natin, medyo nahihirapan tayo if nakakahon tayo to a specific role, to a specific thing. And being an entrepreneur, dito talaga ma-exercise at magagamit natin yung lahat ng skill set natin and even the skills that we don't have, dito natin siya mapapractice. So pero Sir Marlon, when you've built Food Source, ano yung initial strategy mo or ano yung initial plan mo on how to grow Food Source as a website, as an e-commerce platform?
Well, I guess you can say that at the beginning I was very optimistic eh kasi
Mm.
I had experience with e-commerce and we were handling accounts with let's say sabihin natin mga Amazon, mga eBay in the US.
Mhm.
So um we had a peek at the sales numbers also and ano siya eh, talagang parang wow, laki ng potential ng e-commerce. So
Mhm.
when we were starting in food source, ang ano talaga, ang idea talaga is yun yung goal. Gusto natin ma-accomplish yan. So,
Mhm.
well, sabihin natin our journey wasn't very smooth din eh kasi like when we started 8 years ago, e-commerce was very different from what it is right now. Diba?
Mhm.
So, ano tayo eh, as Filipinos, we're also very risk averse. So prior to, I would say even prior to this pandemic, e-commerce was very hard to push din
Mhm.
to a wider audience. Medyo lumaki siya ngayon because of because of the need to not go out. So people were usually very they wanted something physical pa rin eh.
Mhm.
So yun yung mga challenges talaga with promoting it back then.
Mhm. Pero right now you have 350 products listed in your website, no? So how
Oh,
how did you start reaching out to
we
these product
downsized
owners?
that a bit during this pandemic. Forgot to update that
Mhm.
one. Yeah, so ayun, we downsized a bit kasi like with this pandemic medyo mahirap din for a lot of the SMEs and for us as well kumbaga with the logistics and everything.
Mhm.
So ano siya kumbaga previously we were actually very aggressive with food expos. We were joining those with
Mhm.
online online with our social media ganon. So I would guess yun nga nakikilala kami at least in the sa mga businesses also, and yeah, pag yung mga fairs lalo yung mga kay DTI kasi actually one of the ideas
Mhm.
also why we started this is that DTI always has these events. By the way, meron sa Mega
Mhm.
Mall ngayon yung they have these little
Expo.
fairs. Yeah, they have these expos. So where you can find all these SMEs from different parts of the country na
Mhm.
for us is sayang na hindi sila na bibigyan nung attention that they deserve.
Mhm.
So we wanted to have that platform kasi lagi kong tinatanong nga sa mga brands like if I see them in those expos saan ba sila mahanap after, or are
Mhm.
they available already in Metro Manila or online ganon.
I
So
see.
that's one thing that we wanted to offer kasi to at least the industry.
Mhm. Pero so far right now, ano yung mga basing on your interactions with these businesses that you've connected with through food source? Ano sa tingin mo or ano yung nakita mo na biggest challenges since you started food source up until now na hindi pa natin medyo na-figure out within the food
Ako,
industry here in the Philippines?
dami. Madami. Actually kasi,
Baka
yeah,
bukas na tayo matapos, no?
oo, well, siguro to summarize na lang din para at least oo, medyo mahabang usapan yun eh. Pero
Mhm.
siguro, let's say, it's been na yung journey namin talaga very roller coaster din eh.
Mhm.
So, like, with online, we were actually doing distribution also with supermarkets eh.
Mhm.
So, medyo, um, saan kami napunta rin sa retail eh. So we're distributing to
Mhm.
supermarkets, tinigil namin rin during this pandemic eh. So we're back to focusing online right now.
Mhm.
So in terms of like my observation, one thing talaga na kulang kasi is marketing. And
Mhm.
sabihin natin, kasi yun nga, like I mentioned earlier, the Filipino consumer is very risk averse din eh. So ang usual comment nga na I would get like, sabihin natin, kasi we also joined bazaars previously before the
Mhm.
pandemic. So medyo na ano din namin yung buong consumer base eh. So madalas mga tanong nga, kunyari, sometimes we would have this place where like with the number of products we have, ano yan eh, kumbaga iba dyan kasi naka-display na lang din. So sometimes they would ask for, let's say we would have like samples of certain products. Because
Mhm.
of the number of the stuff that we carry, we can't have everything. So some would ask for samples of those products and they would comment, paano namin bibili niyan? Paano namin malalaman kung masarap yan kung walang patikim?
Mhm.
But if you think
Mhm.
about it, isn't that how you buy in the groceries?
Mhm.
Diba?
Yeah.
Kasi they know these brands the ones in the groceries.
Mhm.
But these in yung mga sa mga SMEs, hindi pa kasi sila nakikilala. So it's
Mhm.
really the introduction that's very challenging for these guys. And to be honest kasi kumbaga iba-ibang mga skills din kasi yan eh. Kumbaga in terms of like as individuals, as the SMEs, some would be better at making products. And let's just be
Mhm.
honest here. Some are better with marketing.
Mhm.
It's not
Yep.
always hand in hand eh. So, well, to be honest, yun nga one of the biggest challenges, like I would tell some of my friends nga my favorite products with the stuff that we sell aren't even the best-selling ones because they're so much better with making products. They make very very good products, but
Mhm.
their marketing is sabihin na natin kulang, 'di ba?
Mhm.
Kasi that's their skill eh. Sabihin natin yung mga best-selling products, hindi naman natin sinasabing hindi masarap, pero kumbaga masarap din sila, pero they're not like as good as the ones that are probably ano nga kasi yung iba-ibang skill yan which is parang
Mhm.
siguro the perfect brand should be the balance of both talaga.
Marketing
So,
and product.
marketing and really good product. So yun yung ano doon yun yung challenge din with especially with doing business 'di ba? Ganun talaga yun
Mhm. I see.
Oo.
Pero Sir Marlon, with the products you've seen from Filipino suppliers, do you think kaya natin, if in this case, ma-figure out natin yung marketing and we are able to push Filipino food products to the global market, do you think kaya natin na makipag-compete with the global brands?
I think kaya naman Kaya naman Pero of course like ano, sabihin na natin well we already have like mga global brands, not
Mhm.
just enough like sabihin natin Jollibee is a global brand right now,
Mhm.
potato corners so I think the Filipinos have very strong potential. It's
Mhm.
more on kumbaga continuity also there's a lot of challenges. We have a lot of good products like sabihin natin with chocolates, Malagos is very ngayon, very sila even I think Oro is even hitting like global recognition
Mhm.
Our mangoes are top notch. Kahit pumunta ka ng mga groceries abroad, meron minsan yung mga dried mangoes
Filipino mangoes.
'di
Mhm.
ba? Oo. So we have a lot. Sabihin na natin yun nga, it's a bit of a challenge siguro. If I may, the biggest challenge that we have kasi is that um a lot of the good products that we have are having a hard time getting recognition locally kasi. So I think kasi one of our advocacies also is that's why we're focusing on local right now. Kasi sabihin na natin yung mga lumalaki talagang brands, they're from people siguro who have a bit more access.
Mhm.
So let's say you're starting out, let's say wala ka masyadong yung mga ganun mga access, yung mga capital, it's hard to jump, let's say, to export where the products are sometimes a bit more appreciated So,
Mhm.
ang ano dyan is, yun nga, we need to be able to help these brands grow na, at least from maliit kasi sila, they have to like grow their capital through sales So that's
Mhm.
one of our advocacies na hopefully na may promote ma-support sila ng mga ng mga ng Filipino consumers din na
Mhm.
para may ano sila may kumbaga ano tawag mo dun, slowly but surely na growth. Kasi not a lot are able to risk like
Mhm.
millions to um, get to the ideal market, which is sabihin natin kasi sometimes kunyari sabihin natin with even with just banana chips diba? Just an example with that, banana chips is
Mhm.
something that um, I believe needs more recognition in our own country. So,
Mhm.
ayun, pwede siyang lumaban nga sa mga potato chips eh. Mga ganon. Na, I guess it's something na, ayun, just needs more appreciation. Masarap naman eh,
Mhm.
di ba? Eh, pasok siya sa banlasang Pinoy kasi it has this sweetness to it na ano eh, something different.
I see. And I guess yun nga, kagaya na nasabi mo kanina, maybe before we think on how we could push our products globally, we should start checking on how we could make it more known yung local products and brands natin within the Philippines. Pero Sir Marlon, alam naman natin na during the pandemic, maraming naapektuhan na businesses. Paano naapektuhan si FoodSource PH during the pandemic?
Oh, we're very much affected, to be honest with you. Oo.
Mm.
So, well, we've downsized a lot talaga.
Mhm.
Prior to this pandemic, the majority of our business is really in distributing the products to supermarkets kasi. So
Mhm.
that probably accounts for 90% of our sale.
Mm.
So that 90% wala na ngayon. So because it's very challenging eh. Kasi with let's say with that setup, it's still very traditional where we need a lot of manpower to go
Mhm.
around, and this pandemic is definitely not the best time to do that. So
Mhm.
ano talaga eh, we just had to make that decision na hindi kaya kasi talagang ano eh, plus there were a lot of complications. Plus what we were
Mhm.
distributing were actually medyo pasalubong product eh. So
Hmm.
talagang sales was also down.
Affected din siya dahil
Oo,
yung mga
oo.
travels bumaba. Mhm. I
Yes.
see. And,
Oo.
Sir
So our
Marlon,
sales is
tingin
really
mo yeah, sure, sorry. Go,
ano
go.
yan?
Pero Sir Marlon, tingin mo, on the coming years or perhaps, within the next 2 years, ano sa tingin mo yung posibleng magbago within the main, business model? Not really business model, eh, pero in terms of how things are done, in terms of your industry, that was rooted from the effect of the pandemic?
Well, I guess the good news is that it's a shift also in the industry na a lot are going more into online already, which is
Mhm.
a bit more efficient in terms of sales talaga. And ayun, so it's a new ano, kumbaga nagkaka-split siya na kasi prior to this pandemic, the recommendation talaga yung kumbaga yung in terms of yung growth for a brand, it's
Mhm.
hello.
Mhm. I see. Yeah, medyo na nagkaroon ata
Yeah.
tayo ng konting technical difficulty do'n, Sir Marlon. Pero yun nga, sir,
Sorry.
looking back right now, ano sa tingin mo yung, maybe hindi lang isa, maybe dalawa, tatlo, ano sa tingin mo yung biggest challenges na na-overcome mo with food source and maybe with your other businesses as well?
Well, I think right now, siguro na lang natin, let's give credit to all the businesses who have survived this pandemic because it's definitely not easy. So doon pa
Yep.
lang, I think that's already a big accomplishment eh. Diba
Mhm.
really, kumbaga, I don't think like, kasi prior to this pandemic, we'd think na parang, I'd want something major as an accomplishment.
Mhm.
Kumbaga, let's just kumbaga, give credit na we've survived it, and ano na lang yan eh. We'll look for, ano, we'll look for that that success. Siguro ayan, this year dapat ang ano niyan. Kumbaga
Mhm.
ngayon tayo medyo bumabangon pa lang eh.
Yep.
Ngayon tayo bumabangon pa lang from this pandemic na so sa ngayon I wouldn't say like we have any major success, pero I guess surviving it, and yeah, hopefully we can talk about that later this year na meron tayong talagang na
Malakas na
accomplish na.
pag-bounce back.
Oo.
Mhm. Yep. But I guess yun din sa mga nanonood natin at nakikinig ng mga ka-SBN, sa sinabi nga din ni Sir Marlon na surviving the pandemic itself, if you still came up na nag-operational pa rin yung businesses natin, that's a big accomplishment for everyone. So, yun din, Sir Marlon, tingin natin, maybe dun sa, kasi nabanggit mo kanina na before you had your peanut butter brand, then you had FoodSource, then right now you're also into distribution. How important do you think is flexibility, having that personality or skill, or maybe as an entrepreneur na flexible ka and you know how to pivot on terms of your business?
Huh. I wouldn't say that I was very good at that, pero definitely kailangan 'yan.
Mhm.
Talagang ngayon eh, a lot of cutting costs, a lot of
Mhm.
really adjusting, talagang finding your niche, finding the proper avenue. Talagang ang dami. Yun yung yun nga yung kaya kaya very anong tawag mo doon? Very big accomplishment na yung surviving this pandemic eh, kasi talagang
Mhm.
yeah, there's a lot of adjustments talaga, a lot of things that kumbaga how we are now versus like how it is like before this pandemic started was like very different. So
Mhm. Yes.
kasama yan eh. Like yun nga, even like with my other business, yun nga, yung peanut butter ko, if I didn't close it back then, edi baka wala na siya ngayon. So ngayon, I still have a chance to revive it. Na
Mhm.
ayun, talagang flexibility talaga, finding whatever means to survive, I guess.
Yes, yes, that's very important. And maybe Sir Marlon, dun sa mga nakikinig natin ngayon ng mga ka-SBN na medyo nawawalan ng pag-asa dahil medyo nahirapan nga yung business nila during the pandemic, coming from another person and another business owner who also experienced the same hardships during the pandemic. Ano yung maipapayo mo sa kanila?
Um, Siguro it's really to some extent it's a bit positivity lang talaga 'yan eh. 'Di ba?
Mhm.
It's really about your mindset eh.
Mhm.
Um if you can't achieve that mindset, you have to surround yourself with people who will help you with that eh.
Mhm.
I guess that's the only way eh, 'di ba? And yeah, it's really just finding ways, to some extent learning when to give up and to start all over. Maraming
Mhm.
mga ganyan, pero oo, ganun lang talaga. We just have to be flexible eh, in every way possible.
And maybe in connection with that, siguro marami din sa atin na need ma-realize na hindi nakakahiya to give up on something. Kasi maybe there are some listeners or mga business owners na medyo nahihirapan na i-accept yung reality of a failed business. But that is part of being an entrepreneur, di ba? Part yan ng journey mo as entrepreneur, and ang importante is for you to make sure that you had learn something from that failure and to start all over again and be flexible. So Sir Marlon, ito naman yung tanong natin para sa mga aspiring entrepreneurs. Bilang isang developer, maybe may mga developers tayo ng mga ka-SBN na nag-iisip din na
Oo.
parang gusto kong magsimula ng business na. Ano yung may papayo mo sa kanila?
Siguro ang pinakamagandang mindset na pwede mo, kasi if you're going to start, I would say kasi like especially with doing a business that's well, doing a business is very high risk as compared to being an employee kasi.
Mhm.
So personally, I think we need to start with the mindset na um, failure is not a bad thing.
Mm.
So all we need to do is learn from it eh. So I think kasi yun yung one thing I think na realize ko rin na okay lang naman magkamali as long as kaya mong matuto doon at bumangon and yeah, and just move on and do and adjust eh.
Mm.
'Di ba? So I would say ganun lang ang you start with that mindset kasi if not um you start a business which is a lot more high risk than being an employee. You fail once, baka mag-give up ka na. Hindi pwede yun, di ba?
Mhm.
Kasi talagang,
Yes.
I don't think most people get it right the first time eh. Di ba? Kasi like, even with us, we adjusted a lot. Ano ka lang, kumbaga,
Mhm.
summarized version lang ng kwento namin. When we started, very infancy pa lang ang e-commerce. We started the same time as
Mhm.
Shopee. That's how early we were. So because of that, we had to adjust. Nag-ano kami, nag physical distribution kami, supermarkets, ganon. So talagang very challenging 'yon. And dahil sa pandemic, natigil 'yon. We stopped that, got into e-commerce again. So
Mhm.
if our mindset was really just to like stick to a business and think that it's going to succeed, wala na, we would have failed siguro 8 years ago or 7 years ago. Sabihin
Mhm.
na natin, well, I wouldn't say that we're doing like very well right now, but sabihin natin, but I think kasi with business, it's really just learning it eh. So regardless of you're successful with your business or not, it's a matter of you learning from it and just moving forward and hopefully get that success. Ako personally, that's the mindset that any new business owner or any new entrepreneur that wants to start has
Mhm.
to consider or at least think about.
Mhm. And being a business owner or entrepreneur is an ending process of learning. So, with that
Oo.
nga, actually, Sir Marlon, ito gusto ko lang balikan, medyo nabanggit na 'to kanina, medyo malayo na at the start of our episode, but nabanggit mo kanina that food is your passion. So,
Yeah.
wanted to get an idea or maybe what it's like to work on something that you're passionate about.
Well, siguro kasi it's more ano eh. Mas enjoy siya.
Mhm.
Even if let's say, kunyari, even if you're not doing too well, it's something that you enjoy kasi.
Mhm.
So it gives you an extra push. Whereas natin you get into something na for the money. What if the
Mhm.
money's not there?
Mhm.
Diba? So, wala ka ng motivation for it. So, kaya for me, it has to be something you're at least passionate about. At least for business na mas high risk ka kasi, 'di ba? So,
Mhm.
meron ka ng extra drive kasi. So, worst case, we get to enjoy this food. ano, itong mga
Yes.
benta namin, yun yung at least na ano dun eh. And
Mhm.
it's for me, I enjoy it na getting to try new things, getting to
Okay. Unfortunately, I think nagkaroon ng konting technical problem si Sir Marlon. So, yun nga, sa mga nakikinig natin ngayon ng mga ka-SBN at sa mga live natin na viewers from our Facebook and YouTube feed, yun, kagaya ng sinabi ni Sir Marlon kanina, for those listeners and mga ka-SBN natin who are thinking of starting a business, don't be afraid to fail. It's part of the process. And now we have Miss Sir Marlon back on our feed. Sir Marlon, welcome back.
yeah, sorry.
No worries, no worries.
Medyo mahina ata internet dito. Uh,
Mm.
ayun. Sorry, where were
Pero
you?
yun nga, Sir Marlon, kanina yung nabanggit mo in terms of um, working on a business or starting a business bilang passion mo, nabanggit mo na mas madali siya. Kasi regardless if kumikita or hindi, you still have that push. Kasi if you started a business purely for the money, eventually you'll have that burnout no?
Oo. I wouldn't say it's easier,
Mm.
Hindi pala, hindi easier. It's
Mm.
more kumbaga mas may push ka, mas may ka. Kumbaga, motivation.
Mhm.
Siguro it's
Tama 'yun.
motivation. Oo.
Mhm.
It gives you that
And
push. It,
siguro
it makes you more motivated to do it.
totoo. And siguro ano na din 'yan, masasabi natin na blessing na that you were able to do something, earn from it, with something you love. Pero yun nga, Sir Marlon, before natin i-end yung ating episode for today, maybe may mga ka-SBN tayo and listeners na gustong malaman pa kung ano si Food Source or gusto nilang may makilala ng mga local food brands dito sa Pilipinas. Paano nila makikita ang Food Source or saan ba nila makikita ang Food Source?
We have our website. It's
Mhm.
FoodSource.ph, where um, you can check out all these products we have. Yeah, and you can also follow us on our social media. It's
Mhm.
FoodSource PH in both Facebook and Instagram. So recently mas hindi lang kami active ngayon So oo. So follow nyo lang kami for more updates. And just in case you're curious about the peanut butter brand that I have, I'm planning to relaunch it hopefully by next month
Yan.
So you can also
I'm sure
follow the
maraming
social
ano,
media. Oh,
para sa mga
the brand is
ka-SBN
the
natin na
basics.
mahilig sa peanut butter. Sorry, Sir Marlon,
Oo.
ano yung brand name? Ano yung
The
brand
brand
name
is the
natin?
basics. So talaga all
The
natural
Basics.
kasi siya So the social
Mm.
media is the basics PH. So the basics
Ilagay natin sa
PH
comment
lang
section
siya
yan.
on Facebook and Instagram.
Alright, nilagay
Oo.
po namin sa comment
So
section yung name, The
masarap yan.
Basics
Ano yan?
PH. Yeah, definitely for sure hihintayin yan ng ating mga ka-SBN. And Sir Marlon, thank you very much po for your
Yes. So
time and thank you very much for sharing your story, your journey as a negosyanteng Pinoy with our mga ka-SBN. And sa ating mga ka-SBN, hindi pa po dito nagtatapos yung
thank you.
ating
Thank you for
events
having me.
for the whole MSME week. Thank you very much, Sir Marlon. Meron din tayo mga ka-SBN na webinar on Saturday kung saan makakasama natin ang isang representative from DTI to discuss the government programs about MSMEs na makakatulong sa inyo sa pagbangon during the pandemic. Thank you very much, Sir Marlon, and we're hoping na maging successful yung
Thank
relaunch ng
you.
ating The Basics PH, and good luck on your Food Source PH venture.
Thank you also. Thank you also.
Thank you very much and see you again, mga ka-SBN.